Okay, so today I'm just going to go through a basic procedure for printing with the 3D printer through the Makerware software. We're going to go to Thingiverse.com first to get a file. Usually when you come in with a request, they'll know what they want, but you can also help them find something through the Explore option. But I'm just going to pick out something easy that I've done before, just so that I know that it works. So when you pull up a file, you'll be able to see that there will be pictures of the file and any successful prints that have been made. You can look through those and just look at the integrity of the file and make sure that it's a successful print overall. And you can also look through comments and at how many people have made, just to see if there's any suggestions that they can give about the success of the print. You can also look at the instructions and look at the suggested specifications for the print and just what the original creator suggests. And you can also look through the files on the side and see what other people have done. But I'm just gonna download the Rescale. If you wanted to download all the files there, you could just click download files to the right, but since I only want one, I'm just gonna click on the one that I want. You always want to select move to platform, that way you know that the object is actually on the platform in order for it to lay down a solid foundation layer. This file has some noise around it, just looking at it. I haven't had any trouble with it before, and I don't remember the noise being there when I printed it in the past, but usually that could be an indication that there is a problem with the file, so you really want to be wary when you encounter things like that, especially because there could be filament just kind of out to the sides and printing on nothing basically, which would mess up the print. So I'm going to scale it down because I want to make it a little smaller, just to, for example's sake, make it go by a little quicker. So you can use the more specific editing options, or you can just drag it to make it bigger or smaller. I also know that the tape on the build plate is kind of messed up right now, and you always want to print it on a smooth surface so that the layers closest to the bottom don't get messed up. So I'm just going to slide it over to this corner because I know that the tape isn't coming up off the plate. I'm gonna go up to settings and make sure that everything is how I want it to be. I don't need rafts for this, but I do want supports just because the chin of the cat is kind of hanging over a little bit, but the bottom is a pretty solid foundation, so I don't really need anything to support that. And then 5% infill is pretty good for this. You can really only go between 5 and 10. Anything else is just kind of either not enough or overkill. You can go by also what the creator suggests. For this one, I think it was between 10 and 15%, but once you kind of get the feel of what you're printing and everything, you can kind of deviate from that a bit more. I only need one shell for this, and I think I'm gonna go with 0.2 millimeter layer height just to get a pretty standard resolution through this, because it's a pretty simple print. And then you can check the print preview through export print file. It'll show you here how long it'll take the print to complete and the weight it will be, so that way you can work with whoever's requesting the print about timelines and how much it's going to cost them. So the most important thing here is looking at the first layer. So you can drag this scale down and go to layer 1, and as long as it has a pretty solid base, you don't need rafts or anything. And then checking layer 2 will make sure that there's not any outlying printing material over here, because if there is and it doesn't show up on layer 1, then you may be printing on air. And you can slide through and see if there's anything wrong with the print other places. It's a little hard to tell, but this file itself is fine. But we're not going to export it because we don't need it as an X3G. We can just print it directly. But if you were to move the file to a SD card to put directly into the printer, you would need it as an X3G. But we're just going to click print and start print. And since it's connected by USB, it'll just go ahead and start up. So here we have the finished print. The supports definitely helped a lot, and they're pretty easy to take off, and you can go in with some little snippers and get off any excess filament anywhere, or just like little globs that you don't want on the print. I can just break this off with my hands. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. The more you do it, the more it'll come naturally to you, and yeah, pretty easy.